TGIF was a programming block on ABC that ran from 1989 to the year 2000. They tried to bring it back after that, twice, but it didn't last either time. TGIF kind of hit a popularity peak in the 90s when it became the pinnacle of pop culture.
So leave it to TGIF to get you off your feet with all your favorite shows, partying fiesta style.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Family Matters, Boy Meets World, Full House. Today, these shows are considered to be nostalgic touchstones of the 90s. However, not every show was considered a winner. I'd previously talked about Teen Angel, a show about a teenage boy who dies while eating a hamburger and becomes his best friend's guardian angel. It only lasted one season.
Don't fly away. Teen Angel is next on ABC.
And today, I want to talk about Aliens in the Family from 1996, a TGIF show that flopped even worse than Teen Angel. It only lasted for 2 episodes before ABC pulled it from the air. The other 6 episodes would eventually air, but months later, and in the much less desirable Saturday morning time slot. So you know it was bad. Like Teen Angel, this show is not available for streaming anywhere. But a few enterprising souls uploaded their VHS recordings onto YouTube. The quality is terrible, but I'm just happy they exist. So, what is this failed show about? Well, it is about intergalactic love and marriage. It is the Brady Bunch with Jim Henson puppets. Yes, Jim Henson's son, Brian Henson, was a co-executive producer on Aliens in the Family. The Jim Henson Creature Shop put together several puppets for this show. So in that way, it is slightly reminiscent of dinosaurs, and we'll come back to that. Since the show was pulled off the air after just 2 episodes, I am going to recap those 2 episodes for you now, and we will see if we can figure out what was so terrible that the show needed to be pulled off the air immediately. So the backstory goes that an alien named Cookie came to Earth and abducted a human man named Doug to do experiments on his brain. But she was a single mom, and he was a single dad, and you know how these things go. I feel like I'm always hearing about how hard it is to date and to find someone as a single parent. So when you do find love, you gotta just abduct it and hold it tight. You know, this premise does sound a lot like my Hallmark sci-fi rom-com pitch that I call Probing My Heart. We see Doug and Cookie's love story blossom in an animated intro that is very reminiscent of classic sitcoms like I Dream of Jeannie or Bewitched. Then the show jumps right into a later point in time when the family has seemingly been integrated for a while. The kids are already calling their step-parents Mom and Dad.
Cather's really... Mom! He's doing it again!
Good for them. Cookie is introducing the new nanny, Sally, to the baby named Bobit. And I will not lie to you, I find this puppet adorable. He talks like this.
What's your name?
I am Bobot, the displeased.
And I am Sally the nanny.
Not funny, derisive mimicry.
And I love him. Meanwhile, Cookie's son Spit and Doug's daughter Heather are fighting in the kitchen because Spit ate the toaster. Classic Spit. Adam and Snizzy, the 10-year-olds, do get along a lot better though. So basically, Cookie came into the marriage with 3 children. Her teenage son Spit, her younger daughter Snizzy, and the baby Bobit. And Doug came into the marriage with 2 children, his teenage daughter Heather, and his younger son Adam. It reminds me of Dinosaurs, the teenage son, the younger daughter, and the baby. It's a similar roster of puppets, except their parents were also dinosaurs. And in Aliens in the Family, their mom, Cookie, looks like this.
Call me a sentimental old fool, but I say when a woman abducts a man from a house, they stay there.
So why doesn't she look like her children? Did they just not want to create a situation where average human man Doug is attracted to a bug-eyed alien? Why not? What are they afraid of? Looking at these kids, is their father Admiral Akbar?
It's a trap!
Just kidding. We see a photo of the father later, and Cookie divorced him because he just wasn't there for the kids.
I know what you're thinking. Why would I let a gorgeous guy like that go? I've got to tell you, he was never there for the kids.
That's what she likes about Doug. He really cares about their family.
Oh, I couldn't have asked for a better husband if I'd made one myself. God knows I tried.
This show is weird in that there is either a live studio audience or a laugh track, but they don't laugh at every joke. Like, there was a Nixon joke earlier in the episode.
I have to be at the high school by 7. Heather's in that synchronized swimming version of Oliver Stone's Nixon.
Oh, she's going to be a great Haldeman. You know,
And no one laughs. Do they just not get it? So the main conflict of the first episode is that baby Bobit uses his mind control powers to make Doug's boss give him a promotion.
Tell Mommy what you did to Mr. Bellamy.
I did nothing. Drive faster. Must see lamb chop.
Then the boss talks like Bobit in a meeting.
First off, let's discuss the explosion of our factory in Caracas, which just killed over... That is unimportant. But, sir... Silence, expendable drone. I must promote Brody. Now.
Then other guys start talking like that too, you know, to fit in and avoid being fired.
Great idea, boss. Way to go.
When Cookie tells Doug that Bobit used mind control to get him that promotion, Doug is just like, well, it worked out for me.
I'm afraid Bobit used mind control to get you that promotion. It was completely undeserved.
I can live with that.
Adam and Snizzy bring home the class frog, which jumps right into Bobit's pudding that's cooking on the stove and then dies. Gross. So Snizzy uses advanced alien technology that they have in the garage to bring the frog back to life.
Are you sure it's okay to do this? Well, some societies believe that bringing the dead back to life should be strictly the province of deities. But I say, kids can have fun with it too.
It works, but the frog becomes a giant mutant that just keeps growing.
The mayor of Sherwood Hills had this to say, quote, "These reports of a giant frog wreaking havoc with its massive tongue are completely false. I urge all citizens to..."
There's an underlying plot line of Bobit basically tormenting the new nanny, Sally, and when Sally tries to talk to Cookie about it...
Bobit seems a little out of control.
I'm sorry, Sally, I didn't hear that.
She basically finds out that Bobit is going to be Emperor of the Universe.
He'll grow up to be Emperor of the Neutron Galactic Confederation with power over the planets, the moons, and all living things. I really thought we'd put this in the ad.
Meanwhile, Doug's new promotion has him so overworked that he no longer has time for his family.
Can't. Got a 9 o'clock conference call and I gotta learn Malaysian.
He misses dinner and Bobit's bedtime, but Bobit still wants Doug to read him a story.
I didn't mean to wake you. Go back to sleep, sweetie.
Elevate me.
I love Bobit so much.
I am afraid of the dark.
I'll leave the door open for you.
I mean the dark of the cosmos, the vast empty abyss, the yawning chasm of eternity.
I say literally almost that exact thing all the time. By the way, that was a joke, and there was no laugh track because it was a weird joke. It wasn't the usual sitcom, I fell down, hold for laughter kind of thing. They leave Bobit with Sally the nanny to go schmooze with Doug's coworkers at the country club, thanks to his new promotion. Sally struggles to entertain Bobit.
Do not leave me with child care provider. She is inferior.
But then she wins him over.
Pat a cake, baker's man.
At the country club, Heather is finally getting to hang out with Tiffany, one of the popular girls. All the boys love Tiffany.
I sure could use some waffles, boys.
Except for Spit.
I sure could use some maple syrup.
I suggest you drill a hole in a tree and suck it out.
And Tiffany likes that.
There's something very dangerous about him. Well, yeah, he exhales carbon monoxide. A must-have.
So Heather strikes a deal with Spit, so he'll dance with Tiffany.
All right, what do you want?
Well, you know that car Dad's gonna get you when you turn 16?
Yeah?
I'd like to eat it.
Fine.
They share a romantic dance that looks like this.
I feel you touch me.
Then the giant frog attacks the country club and everyone flees.
The giant frog was subdued by the National Guard and will be taken to Euro Disney.
Once again, that was a joke. I thought it was funny, but there was no laugh track. Snizzy confesses to being behind the frog situation.
I'm sorry, I wrecked everything.
No, Snizzy. I wrecked everything.
But Doug's learned a lesson from all this.
You know, when my kids start recombining the DNA of a frog and mutating it into a giant monster who lays waste to our town, that means I've been spending too much time at the office.
A lesson about the importance of family.
That frog got too big too fast. And so did I.
He tells Bobit to release the boss from mind control so things can go back to normal.
We just need to get along together and love each other like a real family.
Stop this tedious moralizing.
The end. Yet this show is a parody. This is a parody. It's not a real sitcom. But apparently nobody got the joke. Except me. 27 years later. Okay, let's look at episode 2. So, Bobit is running Sally the nanny ragged.
Sally, you must wipe my face. It is intolerably sticky.
Okay, Bobit.
Desist, that rag is too hot. This food is too cold. I no longer want this food. Be gone.
She tries to quit. He uses mind control.
I love Bobit, and I love this job. I will be here for an eternity.
She tries to leave in the dead of night. He blocks the door with a sofa. She writes a letter to her family about how she is losing her mind.
I'm losing my mind. I've even started talking out loud when I'm writing.
And Bobit steals the letter.
Dear Mom and Dad, I have never been happier.
So Bobit decides that he is going to find Sally a man.
What is the most important thing?
Love.
Love?
So that way she'll be happy. The B-plot of the episode is that Doug is sick, which gets the aliens in the family sick. Some small examples of general alien weirdness. Cookie takes Doug's temperature with her finger on his forehead.
101.6. Of course, this isn't the most accurate way to take it.
And later we see Cookie mixing pancake batter, but when she turns around, the beater is in her mouth.
Pancakes, anyone?
So she was the mixer. Bobit is reading romance novels in attempt to help with his plan.
Strolling through the casino on the arm of Count von Hertzberg, the richest man in Europe, Allison fidgeted nervously.
And then he attempts to mind control random men who come to the door into hitting on Sally using lines from the romance novels.
I've lost millions at this roulette wheel, my darling, but it's a mere pittance compared to how I've lost my heart to you.
I don't remember calling a plumber.
When she gets creepily hit on by a priest.
I've roped a lot of wild horses in my day, but now I'm fixing to tame your wild heart.
Sally gets wise to the situation. Bobit agrees to stop meddling, and then immediately starts meddling again.
Moments after Becky fell into the Trevi fountain, the hot-blooded Armando dove in to save her.
After reading a scene about people falling in love at a fountain, Bobit makes Sally sit next to the fountain at the mall for half an hour.
Do not move. I will shriek and cry, calling into question your competence as a child care provider.
Bobit spots an attractive man and pushes Sally into the fountain so he will come rescue her, and it works. Sally and Christopher go on a date and kiss. Bobbitt is pleased. The next day, he notes that Sally is in a good mood.
You seem happy. I presume your date went well.
He's wonderful. I haven't had so much fun since I went out with my high school math teacher.
What? The flu subplot continues with both Spit and Snizzy having gotten sick. Spit's germs manifest as these fuzzy green germ creatures, and Snizzy sneezes fire. Bobbitt has Sally taken back to the mall so they can both see Christopher again, but when they spot him, he's holding hands with another girl by the fountain. And both Bobbitt and Sally are disappointed. Later, Doug is reading Cinderella as a bedtime story, but now Bobbitt is cynical and jaded.
And Cinderella and Prince Charming lived happily ever after.
Until she caught the maneuvering swine dallying at the mall with a painted floozy.
Bobbitt lures Christopher back to the house and ties him up in the closet. But then Spit gets a case of the glutton snorts, part of the flu subplot, which shakes the house, knocking Christopher free and sending him rolling down the stairs.
Here's the boy I had over for dinner the other night.
Well, what's he doing all tied up?
Well, that's not really our business.
Christopher is understandably upset.
Aliens, we come in peace. Yeah, right.
This line highlights the fact that this show hasn't really defined how common aliens are in Earth society. But I guess they're common enough to go to the mall without any problems. Christopher runs out the door and the germs chase him. What's that famous stage direction from A Winter's Tale? Exit pursued by a bear. Well, this one is exit pursued by sentient germs. Mom and Dad have to explain to Bobbitt that kidnapping is wrong.
Binding and gagging someone and holding them hostage is wrong.
Kind of.
You're still a baby. Someday, when you're all grown up and Emperor of the Universe, you can imprison anyone you want.
Bobbitt asks Sally why she let Christopher leave, and she tells Bobbitt the old adage, if you love something, let it go.
I thought you loved him.
Well, if you love someone, you have to let him go. And if it's meant to be, he'll come back.
And Bobbitt tells Sally that she is free to leave.
You may go.
What?
You may have a life of your choosing, outside of this house.
It's a sweet moment. Our future emperor is both kind and magnanimous. And now Sally is allowed to leave the house, even though Bobbitt follows her. That's the end of episode 2. So, I actually kind of like this show. The humor is very on point for me. And I like having all these weird elements smushed together with a traditional sitcom while nobody acknowledges how bizarre everything is. But it must have been missing something. And I keep looking at this through a 90s lens, trying to figure out what that was. But these slice of life family sitcoms were really common at the time. So why doesn't this one work? Was it the sci-fi element? Was it the aliens? Did that just not resonate with TGIF audiences? Or was it because so much of the focus was on Bobbitt, and having a baby as the main character just wasn't pulling in viewers? I mean, that's an affront to our future emperor, but it's certainly plausible. For 90s sitcoms, there's usually some sort of hook to the family concept. For Full House, it was Danny being a widower with 3 daughters and his brother-in-law and his best friend moving in, so you had these 3 men raising 3 girls. Step by Step had a very similar premise to Aliens in the Family, with the 2 parents getting married and blending their families. Dinosaurs was also similar to this show in that it's a lot of normal family sitcom plots, but the hook is that they're dinosaurs. Because of the family sitcom element combined with Jim Henson puppets, I just really mentally equate Aliens in the Family with dinosaurs. But dinosaurs ran for 4 seasons. However, Dinosaurs was extremely expensive to make. which is what ultimately contributed to the show being canceled at the end of season 4. I couldn't find budget information for Aliens in the Family, but it probably wasn't as expensive as Dinosaurs. However, I imagine that having 3 of the main characters as animatronics probably really did hike up the budget. Like, for Spit, you have to have the working animatronic suit, you have to have someone in the suit, you have to have someone doing the voice, and you have to have someone controlling the puppetry. So you're paying for 3 people and 1 very expensive prop for just 1 character. So because of the costs, this show probably really needed to knock it out of the park ratings-wise in order to get greenlit for a full season, and it just didn't. I kind of think Aliens in the Family was just too weird for mainstream audiences in the 90s. The difficulty the show had with utilizing the laugh track suggests that this type of humor wasn't typical for ABC. Like I mentioned earlier, the show seems like it was actually a parody, but nobody understood that that was the joke. And you can't use a laugh track to highlight a high-level comedic concept. This Baltimore Sun writer really liked the show, though. In a review that was published the day that the first episode aired, they called it offbeat but smart. And they did seem to really understand what Aliens in the Family was going for. I really wish there was some Bobit merch out there for me to buy. Like, you know I looked for a Bobit t-shirt to wear in this video and couldn't find one. This series also guest stars a pre-Dawson's Creek James Van Der Beek in episode 4, and I kept seeing references to this appearance online, but I couldn't find clips anywhere. However, the actual episode 4 is available on YouTube. Everyone talked this up as a super cringy and embarrassing scene, so of course I had to see it.
Looking good.
Ethan?
Stay, bud. Stay.
Well, young man, looks like you've got a story to tell the grandkids.
That's it? That's really not that bad. He's done cringier things in, like, every episode of Dawson's Creek. I'm disappointed. I don't know if you've ever seen Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23. James Van Der Beek plays James Van Der Beek in the show, and it is amazing. It is just top tier performance. I love it.